What is performance testing? If you are looking online, what you are getting when you are searching for performance testing is the types of performance tests. So, to go back to the basics, what is performance? How the system behaves in different scenarios. It's not like simple functionality, it's like the simple functionality, the functionality changes based on data, based on the input, based on what the data sent it to. But in performance testing, what we are assessing is not the functionality, but the same working functionality, how it behaves on a bigger scale, like 100 people accessing the system at the same time, or suddenly 1,000 people trying to access a specific functionality. For example, Amazon have this Black Friday sale on a specific day. You have more number of transactions on a Black Friday than a normal day. That is the difference, what or why we are doing the performance test. So just like any other testing, performance testing also do the same thing. It will arrange some activities like this many number of users, this many number of systems, what is our input, where is our database, how much is the database size, and all those things. This arrange process will always happen. And act a small difference between functionality and performance testing is when you act for a functional test, you act alone. You just do it in a, let's say, a simulated or a completely isolated environment, something like incognito mode. You try to do that functionality in incognito mode as a single user. That is how you check the functionality. But in performance, you wanted to do all possible users doing or try to do the action at the same time. Imagine 100 people using it from mobile, 1,000 people using it from Chrome, and 1,000 other people using it from Safari, Mac OS. So all the compatibility tests are simultaneously happening in a production environment, especially on something like Black Friday. I mean, Black Friday example, that can happen for any other people. It may be something like you have a social media, and then you might expect a high number of people accessing social media on a Friday evening. You might have a movie Netflix kind of service, and high number of people will be accessing the system every Saturday evening. They will be watching more movies, more people will be logging into, more people will try to access into, and if there is a new movie released, there will be a spike in that area. So those are all the things will be split into different namings. We will be seeing it in the subsequent videos, but in general, performance testing is figure out how the simultaneous access to our system, database, microservices, so more number of people, minimum more than one, like minimum 2 people to access at the same time. But the idea is to check as many as possible. So how many people we are accessing, how we are doing our calculations, what we are assessing is something similar to functionality. In functionality, you sent input data and you were expecting a very specific output data. In the same way, in performance, when you are accessing 100 people accessing the same time, your baseline is you don't expect any errors. You don't get like 500 or 400, your service is up and running and stuff. In addition to that, there are other areas you need to validate, something like what is your spike, how your CPU works, whatever. I mean, you might, it's all microservices and stuff. In other words, all of them are going to some other, even if it is a container, even if it is a Docker image, even if it is a Kubernetes configuration, a Docker generated and deployed into AWS or GCP, you are still accessing an isolated operating system allocated with specific memory. So you have to identify when these simultaneous access of the functionalities and users happen, how much it takes, how much it can handle. So what are all the things we validate? It will based on what we are validating. The types of performance testing will be explained in the next videos. But in general, this is what we are assessing on a performance test to identify how big we can grow. That's the basic question.